Rep. Yep. U.S. House of Representatives. Yep.
Hey guys, Savage Joy here with Real Progressives. Tonight I am joined by my second time candidate. He's the only person I've had back so far. So tonight we have Trent Nesmith again from Georgia. He's running for U.S. State House Rep, District 12. And they vote Tuesday. So we need everyone to get off their asses and vote Tuesday, but we'll get back to that. So Trent is amazing. I would give anything to be able to vote for him myself. He is running what he calls a blue collar campaign. He is, do you consider yourself an actual construction worker? Is that what you?
I'm a roofer. I'm the king of blue collar construction workers.
Yeah, and this is a man who should, he represents us. That's what I love about him. Like, he is the most real person. Like, it's, like you'll meet him at, a picnic. Like, he's that real.
Yeah.
Russell wants to know where Georgia District 12 is. What cities are you around?
So Georgia District 12 is congressional district. It's Augusta, which is my northernmost city, and then the westernmost city is Dublin. The easternmost city is Statesboro, and then the southernmost city is Douglas. It's a diamond shape. It's a really big district. It's 19 counties. I have put almost 22,000 miles on my truck now, driving from various events. So it is a enormous by area district. With the real only legitimate metro city that we have is Augusta, Georgia. Then we have Statesboro and Dublin, which are about the same size. Statesboro is a little bigger, the bigger block of voters, and it's a university town, Georgia Southern University. It's my alma mater. I did not graduate, but I did go to Georgia Southern for three years before I decided to go into construction full time. But I do love Georgia Southern University. It's in my hometown. My wife is employed through Georgia Southern University. So it's a really big district, though, rural and metro.
Awesome. And, also, if you look at Trent's website, which a gentleman just posted, you'll see lots of videos of Trent doing canvassing and things like that. He is the epitome of a candidate who actually does things himself as well. So it's not, a lot of people think Democrat, oh, okay, they say they're grassroots. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. There are so many people who just look for volunteers. They don't pick up a phone. They don't knock on doors. They expect everyone else to do it for them. But Trent is completely opposite. I guess it was about a month ago, you went to DC. You drove all the way there. Can you explain why you went there and what you did while you were there?
Yeah, so over the last 4 months, I've been trying to corner my incumbent, Rick Allen, and also my two senators. I had my roofing lobby, which I've been a part of, the NRCA, which is a National Roofing Association, that has for many years talked about doing something in Washington, D.C., and then oddly enough, this year they did. So I leaned on the chair of that body to get me a meeting with the incumbent and my two senators. Well, guess what? He did. It was an interesting scheduling. We scheduled and they had no problem. 2 weeks before we actually were headed to D.C., the incumbent realized what he had done. And so his team tried to get him out of that meeting with his opponent. We did divulge that in the beginning, but they seemed to just not care. So, of course, we're not going to push it. But we get to D.C. I was there, honestly, as a roofer, because as roofers, we have an issue with the current immigration situation. My lobby did not really want me to attack on a clean DACA bill. They didn't have they didn't have a problem with me discussing DACA, but they didn't want me to say clean DACA bill. Well, I'm just not that guy. I got in the meeting with Rick Allen and I just called him straight out. What is the holdup? I actually employ a DACA recipient. And so I asked him, Rick, sitting in his office on his couch, I did let him know that in November I would be moving some furniture in and I'd be more than glad to move his out. He took that a little offensively. At that time, he figured that he would point out that he was the first contractor in Congress. And I said I would have no problem being the second. So we go into DACA and he has no answer for me. He had no, when I asked him, do you know a DACA recipient? Of course he didn't. Have you ever employed a DACA recipient? Of course he hadn't. That said everything to me. So I didn't even need to push the subject any further. I did give him some grief on other topics. It was supposed to be a 30-minute meeting. I had him so emotionally involved that he went into another 15 minutes, which his chief of staff didn't participate in because she was extremely angry, not quite as able to hold her poker face. So we gave it to him. Then it was gratifying for me to look him in the eyes, to basically let him know that I'm coming for him in November. And then I also got to move from that office. And oddly enough, that's the day before we got to sit down with some of the DACA protesters. They were doing a protest, a sit-in in the middle of a street in D.C. And got to just really talk to some people. And it was just so inspiring to me to go in the next day and to get Rick Allen right. And, so what was even more inspiring was I got to move over to the senator's building. As I was moving around, Joe Traina, my campaign manager, was with me and he had his camera with him. So we come around a corner and they assumed that we were media. We come around the corner. Well, there were the high school students in our country right now that are fighting for gun control are so inspiring to me. And more importantly, really give me the positive outlook on this country that we are moving in the right direction. And so I come around the corner. Mitch McConnell's office is right there. They are literally doing a sit-in. The teenagers, the high schoolers in our country are sitting in at Mitch McConnell's office. Joe and I rush to the front. As we rush to the front, the adults are silent. The adults are literally silent. The entire hallway of Congress. We are sitting there, and I can't contain myself. So the Capitol PD thought I was media due to Joe having a camera, me being in a suit, and we were in the media section. So they assumed I was media. Well, as soon as I started letting the students know that I was there, I saw them and I supported them. They removed us. I was one of only 3 adults in the entire hallway letting those students know that I am with you. I see you and I support you. Just a great week in DC. And just, it really inspired me. It made me even more passionate than I already was about this situation. And it was just, overall, it was an excellent experience. I got to take my wife and kids too. So we got to see, where Daddy will be in November. So it was really awesome.
Well, it was amazing because that video went viral.
Yes.
The kids sitting in the hallway and everything. And every time I saw it, I was like, do you realize that guy clapping, the only one you see clapping, that guy's a candidate.
And Georgia's 12.
Yeah. I was like, people were like, no way. That guy's a candidate. I was like, yeah, that's badass. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's about. It's getting actual activists to do things like that. So, and now, a lot of you guys, you may know what happened, but you may not know the names and all that fun stuff. But I'm going to bring up what happened to your campaign manager.
Yes. Yes.
These guys have been, I have never heard stories like what they have been through since they announced. His campaign manager is an amazing guy, Joe Traina. He was sent a bag of gummy dicks and a letter, and then also sent another one to his home from their local Democratic committee.
Yep.
So that's how the Dems locally are treating them. Obviously, very scared of a progressive coming in. They also told Joe he was removed by police. He was arrested at their meeting because he dare question the way that they were behaving. So, and they actually gave him a letter that stated that he needed to go under psychiatric care and remain absent for 7 years before he could come back to any of those Democratic so-called meetings. So that's how things are being run against progressives.
Yes.
Not very democratic. But you guys have been, a lot of people, I'll be straight up, might have just quit right then. Like, we can't win. Like, look at this. They're all ganging up on us. They called the cops on us. And you stuck with Joe, and you guys have been kicking ass ever since.
Yeah.
So what is that like? I mean, are they still bothering you guys?
Oh, well, I don't even know if you're aware of the latest events. So here's the thing is, I got involved in June or July, and I went through every person that I could find that had any weight in the 12th District's Democratic Party. I sat down with almost all of them. I had lunch with every one of them because, honestly, I wanted to just get behind a candidate. Well, Joe Traina stood out instantly in the 15 meetings that I had as the gentleman that's really going to work in this district. Upon getting to know him, I got to witness, because, for one, a great decision by the progressives in Richmond County, which is Augusta area, Augusta Metro, which is South Augusta, which is 30% of my voters in the 12th District. Their party, they had been videoing their party's meetings, the progressives had, since day one. And I actually, Joe and I sat on my couch upon deciding him being my campaign manager. I sat on the couch and I watched, I think, 9 straight hours of the most boring Democratic meetings that you could watch. But more importantly, in each one of the videos, there were 10 minutes of dispute on the actual unfoldings of the meetings and the democracy of the meetings, the Roberts rules that they were supposed to be following. Well, they weren't. The chair at that time was actively keeping progressives out and just blatantly said it. The man is elderly. Maybe he didn't realize he was being recorded, but we're a one-party state, so it didn't really matter. But it was unbelievable to me as kind of an outsider. I had no idea what was going on 1.5 hours north of me in Richmond. I did have a good idea of Bullitt County, and we have a great Democratic Party led by an awesome chair. But in Richmond, not the case. So after digging into this for months and months and months, I mean, there are clear cases of corruption. We get involved in this campaign, almost laughed off by the Richmond County Party, and now all of a sudden we have weight. We have national weight, we have endorsements, and they are panicking. So what do? They send my campaign manager a letter from the attorney, which is the chairman. She is an attorney, Miss Wright, and it laid out that Joe needed a mental evaluation and was not allowed, just to summarize, back to any Richmond County Democratic function for 7 years. As my campaign manager, I could not believe that, along with a bag of gummy dicks, which we still don't know who sent that. And honestly, I could care less about that. It's kind of funny.
Were they good, at least?
Yeah, they were delicious. But The letter is the problem. So we took it to our attorneys. We now think, and our attorneys in DC and in Augusta think that we have a First Amendment case and are actively pursuing that. We just had a Richmond County breakfast, or it was actually a lunch, that John Barrow, which was the 12th District congressional seat holder before Rick Allen, which is the incumbent, was there speaking. He's running for Secretary of State. One of the executives of Richmond County, before we got there, knew Joe was coming. Joe actually went and bought a ticket from this very executive, bought 2 tickets. She sold him 2 tickets. And then she pulled a restraining order against my campaign manager. Did not actually get it into the court system, but did have an attorney draw it. So Saturday morning, my team and I, we show up to Richmond County, Joe included, and both of our attorneys. We walk in the front door. Joe and I sign in. We have 2 tickets. We go to sit down, and then Richmond County Sheriff's Department comes in, escorts Joe back out. Well, of course, I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to have that. I have been advised several times in this campaign by consultants and other people in this district that I needed to get rid of Joe. That's not going to happen. This guy is doing things for this 12th district way before I even got involved, fighting corruption, and I am not going to fold. I'm not going to fold for this. I will lose before I fold to these higher powers. I'm not that guy. They don't know who I am. So Joe, I walk out, we have the media waiting, and we blasted them. So when we win next Tuesday, I'm going into the Richmond County Party without Joe, and I'm letting them know that their days are numbered and that Trent Nesmith, if I have to, whether I get the state's approval or what, will be starting a new progressive Democratic Party in Richmond County with or without them. So progressives across this country, don't fold. Hold your ground. Stay with what you know is right, regardless of what consultants say or what the old guard says. You know, I am, this is bigger than Trent Nesmith. This, for me in the 12th district, this is bigger than I am. So I am going to fight this until the end. I am extremely disappointed, but right is right and wrong is wrong. So we're fighting. I stand with Joe. I will stand with Joe. He is my campaign manager. He will be my chief of staff when I am in DC in November, and I am proud to call him my campaign manager and future chief of staff. So Richmond County can get over it.
Hell yeah. And Joe, I see you watching. You're a badass. We love you.
Yes, we love Joe.
He is exactly who I'd want too. He's strong and he's educated and he doesn't take any shit.
Exactly.
So anyone who's watching in Trent's district, I implore you to vote for him for many reasons, but also because there is no bigger fuck you to those people than having Trent win. There is no better way.
Nope.
To see their faces would be beautiful. Like, oh, we did all this crap to him and he still won.
We still prevail. Awesome. That's right.
Yeah. So you actually, as far as the issues go, you are a big supporter of cannabis, legalizing cannabis.
Absolutely.
You put that even on some of your campaign like promos.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain why you're passionate about that and why you advertise it so freely?
Yeah. Well, it is such a huge issue. It often in Georgia, and I and I can't vouch for the rest of the country, but in Georgia, it often gets laughed off as, I always joke that it's the Scooby Shaggy, the Shaggy. They just look at you as you're wanting to be able to lay on the couch and smoke pot and eat Cheetos. Well, that is not the case. This is a civil rights issue. This is a tax revenue issue. There are so many facets of our country that cannabis could touch. It's a medicinal issue. We see all over the country. We see scientifically that it's helping medicinally. We see that it is putting men, and especially men of color, in prison. My uncle G, was put in prison for a stalk of a plant. It actually didn't even have any cannabis on it. His son had it in his room. Unbeknownst to him, he didn't even really pay. It was just a stick. He was put in prison for that for 1 year of his life. That changed me. I mean, that changed me as a human. A harmless plant had put this man in prison for a year of his life. It was unacceptable to me. So it literally would generate tax revenue. It would help our farmers here in Georgia's 12th. I have a ton of farmers. I have a ton of farmland. It's probably one of my biggest industries. If they could, instead of growing, we only grow 3 things. We don't grow anything in Georgia's 12th that you eat, and that also bothers me. But we grow cotton, soybean, and peanuts, all for oil production. We don't grow anything that we eat. That bothers me. But 2, we have less than fertile soil for those 3 plants that we could be growing cannabis in. Industrialized hemp would bring a whole new industry to my 12th district. That is crucial to me. That is something that we need to have here with our unfertile soil, the acreage that is unfertile. More importantly, it is a great rotation crop. It restores nitrogen to the soil so that the following year we can grow cotton, peanuts in an area maybe we couldn't. So cannabis touches so many facets of an economy that is absolutely absurd. And I love when opposition wants to debate me on cannabis, because they are wasting their breaths and it is ridiculous. And I love telling them that, because no human should be put in prison for a plant. It's just ridiculous. Prohibition does not work. So yes, I am pro-cannabis. I'm probably more passionate about that one thing because of it, folks' lack of knowledge of how many people it affects. So yes, I'm extremely pro-cannabis, and I'll stay that way. It's one of my big issues.
And it definitely affects so many people of color.
Yes.
I mean, the amount of, and we have so many for-profit prisons, so unfortunately it would hurt them. But legalizing cannabis would just set so many people free who not deserve to be in there to begin with.
Fathers, uncles, brothers, dads can go home and raise their children. I get extremely passionate about this one subject. Again, it's touched me personally. I see so many people touched by it. 3.5 times the men of color get put in prison, when we know that white men use it at the same rate. That's ridiculous. That's unacceptable. It's 100% unacceptable. So I am going to, whether I win in May or November, I will be fighting that one subject. It's one of the closer things to my heart, because of a family member, because of what I see it does to the communities around me, and it's unacceptable.
It is. I had a gentleman who's a veteran who has PTSD, who is literally still alive from cannabis, and I had a gentleman who had testicular cannabis and used cannabis to get through his chemo and radiation because it was making him sick.
Yep, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's another major factor and thank goodness here in the state of Georgia, our governor just signed into law that PTSD would be added to the list of possible medical solutions here in the state of Georgia, which is good. But the problem with them putting a pacifier in our mouths of medical is that it leaves too much control in the healthcare and the pharmaceutical companies' hands. Not only their hands, but Monsanto's hands and the folks the subsidiaries of that. So we cannot let that pacify us. We have to fight for full legalization. So, folks, if you're listening in the Georgia's 12th, you need to understand that. Don't fall for that pacification. That is just a pacifier that will leave the power in the wrong people's hands. So, but yes, here's another story. I love to hire military because military, they fit into the roofer mentality and lifestyle great. Tough, hardworking, waking up early, working all day, just works. 80% of my staff are ex-military. When I have one of them sit down with a bag full of meds, uppers, downers, lefts, rights, antidepressants, all these things, all of their side effects are no sleep, not eating, all of these things. And I know there's an alternative. I have to make my military veterans aware that, hey, maybe you should try something different. And what is so funny is I don't need a scientist to tell me this. I see it with my own eyes. I see it help these gentlemen with their PTSD. I see it help them to sleep. We know that the two side effects of marijuana or cannabis is sleeping and eating. Two major things that a human being needs. So whether they use it with the things that they're prescribed or they try to wean themselves off, we need it now for our military and our veterans. It's crazy to think that a plant is still legal. And so I could go on for 2.5 hours about that one subject.
Yeah, right on. Ray, my buddy Ray joined at a very good time. I have some very strong supporters of cannabis legalization.
Stay strong.
Kind of along that line, you do support Medicare for All, which is
Yes.
pretty much a litmus test to anyone who says they're progressive.
Yes.
So can you kind of discuss why you have that on your platform?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not a progressive if you're not for a single payer system. So we've seen, and this is the simplest way I say it to any opposition. We've seen the left, the corporate left's program. I was a supporter of Obamacare because it insured more people. And I said, hey, let's give it a chance. Let's see. It's not working. As a business owner, as somebody that employs people and is seeing a healthcare system that still leaves the power in the health insurance industry's hands, it just is not working. My people are still not getting effective health care. Premiums are high, all different kinds of issues. It just is not working. Then we saw the trash that the GOP put forward. And I'm not even going to waste but a few seconds on that because they couldn't even get together on that. And it was just trash. The only way forward, 25 other industrialized countries have proven that it will work. And there are very few, if anybody, in those countries fighting their single payer system. It is our only way forward. Your mortality should not be based on a profit motive. That it's as simple as that for me. So Medicare for All is the only way forward. Is it the silver bullet? No, we'll have issues. We're going to have problems. There are going to be some hurdles that we have to get over. There are things that we're going to have to deal with, but it is the right. Healthcare should be a right in any country that wants to be the best, that wants to be the shining light of the globe. Then you have to make healthcare a right. To me, it's just a no-brainer. There are two things in priorities: the globe, the world. It's number one priority. Without it, we don't exist. And then the second thing is health. Third thing being happiness. To me, I base everything I decide, every decision I make on those three things. And so health is everything. If you don't have health, it's just, it's extremely sad. So that's where I stand. I'm a Medicare for all. Healthcare is a right.
Absolutely. And the thing that I'm sure everyone can see is that you have empathy. And yes. We have probably about none of that right now, well, except for Bernard. Yeah, I mean, it's very few people who actually have empathy. So we need people, not just progressives, but progressives who actually care and understand the pain people are going through, even if it's not them. That is imperative. You also talk about a living wage. Are you Fight for 15?
Yes, we're Fight for 15. Now, here's something where I'm a little, not all progressives are kind of on the same page there, but yes, we definitely need an increase in the minimum wage. I will be a bit flexible on Atlanta. Is a little different than where I went to high school, Portal, which is extremely small city. We need to be creative. We need to figure out a way. But I also think that unions and being able to collectively bargain would help wages rise. So I think we need to attack on two fronts. We need to reinforce our unions. We need to reinforce a fast food union. It would be huge. Fast food is a huge industry in my district especially. And so to see collective bargaining being reinforced along with a fight for 15, we have to, realistically, we should be somewhere up around 20, but 15 would be a great step in the right direction. You should not be working a 40-hour work week and not being able to sustain. We have got to quit with the corporate welfare. Those are the beneficiaries of keeping wages low, are the CEOs, the Walmarts, the McDonald's of the world. They're the welfare recipients. So I don't understand the argument against it, to be honest. I battle with that one daily with folks because, Trent, you're a small business owner. You must understand. Everybody in my business makes $15 an hour, down to the trash guy. So I don't want to hear it. I'll sacrifice some of my CEO pay and bonus to make sure that everybody in my company has a livable wage. Well, if you're not going to do that yourself, CEO, then that's what our federal government is designed to do, is step in. And we need a livable wage. It's simple to me.
So on that note, do you support a federal job guarantee?
All right. So the federal job guarantee, yes, I think I think if we can create those jobs, then yes, I think that's something that is kind of new in my vision, and so I'm really studying it. I think it's a great idea, honestly. I think I get that it's too extreme, Trent. It's too extreme. You're getting too far out there on that. I have the pleasure of knowing Dr. Winfield in the 10th district here in Georgia. And I've had the pleasure of sitting down with him multiple times and discussing this.
He's running, isn't he?
Yeah, he's running for the 10th district against Chalice Montgomery. He's a big
I think
supporter.
he's been on.
Yeah, I think you've had him on. So I've had some really good conversations with him about a federal job guarantee. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm going to be honest with you, Joy, because I'm not. I am still a roofer, and I want to wrap my head around it a little better. I think that it's a step in the right direction. I think that it would answer home ownership problems. We could tie home ownership in the redlined areas to that. So I think that it would. I think it would open up a bunch of avenues. I'm very intrigued by it. I am in support of it if we can design a system that would actually work. So I think that's the simplest way to say that.
Absolutely. It would definitely help with homelessness, help with unemployment.
Yes.
Myself, I'm laid off, and I'm being told I'm overqualified. Look, I just want a damn job. Like,
I just want a job.
Just give me a damn job. Like, that's up to me if it's freaking, overqualified. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like, I was told by 2 places now in the past, 2 weeks. So someone like me who is educated and qualified and willing to work and, has a lengthy experience of work, but yet I'm still laid off.
Exactly.
So federal job guarantee would also help people in a situation like I'm in as well. So
absolutely. Yeah, I think I like the premise. I think attacking homelessness is a great direction. There are so many jobs that are just unfilled also. So it just, we have nonprofits, we have state and federal and county and city jobs that are unfilled still. So I'm extremely intrigued about it. I would be in support of a system that I think would functionally actually work. So yeah,
absolutely.
I'm open for it. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And someone made the comment that they love that you're open to new ideas because we need that. And any of our representatives, they need to actually be open to listen to their constituents.
Listen, exactly. The politicians that I've dealt with in the past, they'd rather just talk at me, and not listen. So I will listen. I will guarantee that. So.
Gregory said that you will win single-handedly. So.
Gregory Mallard. We just had a great discussion. He and I just met that gentleman. I didn't realize we had. He's a farmer over in Sylvania. Yes, single-handedly. I love Gregory.
He is your number one supporter. Every time I talk about you, he's like, yes.
Yeah, I enjoy him.
Before I forget, speaking of which, because I know he does some canvassing and stuff.
Yeah.
I digress a bit, but like I said, you guys, they are voting on Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday.
So what do you need in the next 5 days? You need canvassers, phone bankers.
I just need volunteer canvassers and phone bankers. I've knocked doors with, I think I tallied today over 100 door knockers. Every single person that has knocked doors with me, I've knocked doors with. There may be a little handful that have slid through, but I personally knock doors with my volunteers. I had a new guy come in today and I knocked. So I just need bodies. I need doors. We had a phenomenal day today. The thing that is overlooked about door knocking is, like, for me as a progressive, appealing to young folks, sometimes single issue voters. Cannabis is a very popular one on campus. When you knock a door of a student at an apartment complex, for one, you can touch a lot of doors at one time. But two, they answer the door with their phones in their hands. Doesn't happen in the neighborhoods. Nobody comes to the door with their phones in their hands. The students do. So while they have their phone right there in their hand, you can say, hey, are you registered to vote? Yes or no? Two, if you're not, or if you are, can you pull up your Facebook? can you just hit like on my Facebook page? Well, it is an extremely effective thing. It just, the algorithm on it is unbelievable. It hits so many people, that one door. So the old adage of door knocking is maybe not as effective. Antiquated is not. Actually, it's the opposite. If you're a progressive and you're young and you're exciting to the students, you can have them like it at the door. Well, that one door knock turned into 3,000 friends just got hit with Trent Nesmith for Congress. So I need bodies. I need folks to help me. I need door knockers. I need everybody. I'll be knocking every afternoon until Tuesday. Come see me. We're in Statesboro. We're in Augusta. Joe's in Augusta doing that headquarters. I'm in Statesboro doing its headquarters. I'm right on Main Street, 41 South Main. I'll have Joe. Joe, if you're listening, put it down there in the comments.
He's already did it.
Bam, that's my man. If you're in Statesboro, near Statesboro, come volunteer with me. I will knock the door with you. That is what this is about. That is outworking your competitor. So I'm that guy. I need you. I need everybody. It's almost to the point, of course, we'd love to have donations. That would be great. That would help us with this last little push. We're almost running out of time for money at this stage until after the primary. But I need bodies on the ground. I need folks knocking. I need Greg over in Sylvania. I need everybody hitting doors, talking to folks. More importantly, getting them to like and share to get us ready for November, whether they're registered or not, or for a runoff. So I need bodies. I need folks. I need everybody. I need my constituents to come out. I need the folks that are motivated by what they see to come help me. We'll have a good time. I promise you that. It's a learning experience and it's extremely fun. We have a good time. So
I'm sure. I really wish, regardless of what happens, I'm coming out to hang out with you and Joe sometime.
Look, hey, look who just walked in my back door. Look at this. Look at these guys. There he is. There he is. And Max Tenner, my newest. I haven't even met Max, but I'm meeting him live in a town hall. Oh, this is awesome. Sorry,
you
Joy.
Totally just wanted to make an entrance while there's
Joy, am I still centered, Joy? Am I centered still in this camera shot?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, we're having a good time here.
Actually, there are some comments that say they early voted for you, so that's exciting.
Early voters.
And there's someone named Tom Maroney who said he did a few doors today.
I have to give Tom a shout out. He has worked harder than all of my volunteers. Tom Maroney, huge union guy, has been all over this country. Awesome guy, been a great supporter. I love you, Tom. Thank you, Tom.
This is the fact that people get so excited about you. I think that's why I get excited about you too.
Yes.
Because you guys might not know this, but I have actually interviewed almost 80 candidates. And Trent is one of 5 that I've personally endorsed.
Woo!
That's a pretty good deal. That's a
Joy, you rock.
You know who I am.
You rock. I love you. One of my favorite personalities in this media world. So yes.
You also put on your platform that you talk about the 28th Amendment. Can you discuss what that is?
Yeah.
And
okay.
why that's on your platform?
So we save the best for last. The best and the biggest issue facing our country and our democracy is a 28th Amendment. We literally are having our democracy stolen from us and auctioned off to the highest bidder. If we do not address Citizens United that happened in 2010 and the amounts of money that are being dumped into these campaigns and this influence that it has on our candidates and our legislation, we will collapse. We will lose our democracy to oligarchs. That is inevitable. That is just the facts. That's just the facts. That one issue intersects with every single issue that this country faces, and we have to acknowledge that. Whether you're a cannot stand on the 28th Amendment, then you're probably going to take corporate money. And you are the problem. Well, we will not be doing that at Trent Nesmith for Congress. We will not do that. That is not going to happen. I cannot be bought. Joy, can you see that bumper sticker right there? Billionaires. Billionaires. You can't buy Bernie, and you cannot buy Trent Nesmith. That is just the facts. It is the biggest issue that our democracy faces. And so we've got to get big money out of our politics. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. And anyone that does not stand on that, you need to question.
Absolutely. Like Bernie says, it's not a win, it's a purchase. So
it's a purchase.
Yeah, it's right on. Everything comes back to that one thing. Absolutely. So it looks like all your links are in there. I have to, again, please, even if you have a few dollars, I am, as I stated a little earlier, I am laid off, but I still did the $27 because I believe so much in this campaign. Like, I really love these guys. So definitely if you can throw a few dollars. Also, even if you just share my show tonight and tag some people from Georgia, or email the show to some people in Georgia, anything you can do to get the word out, because I know that he can change some shit. Like, I know. I just know. I'm intuitive, damn it. I freaking know.
Yeah, exactly. I will not waver. I stand on my platform as rigid as any candidate ever. So.
Yeah, you are a stubborn fella, I'll tell you that.
I'm a stubborn roofer. I'm a stubborn roofer from Southern Georgia. I've had to deal with conservatives my whole life.
So if you want to leave our viewers, our audience, with one thing so that they can take away and hopefully give you a few dollars and promote you to other people, what do you want to leave them with?
Yeah, so here's my philosophical view of politics and the current situation. We have a relatability issue in our country from our constituents to our politicians. The issue is that the Senate and the House, half of the Senate, half of the House are attorneys. I'm going to preface this. I love my attorneys. I think they've worked really hard for what they do. But half of the House, half of the Senate are attorneys. The other half are millionaires. We have a turnout problem in this country. The reason we have a turnout problem in this country is no one is relating to our politicians. So we need to elect roofers, ironworkers, barbers. We need to elect. Nothing says that we can't run. Don't be intimidated by millionaires and attorneys. Get involved, because constituents are screaming for someone to relate to them. I've lived paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like. We almost collapsed in 2008. So if I can get anything else across tonight, get involved. We need regular blue collar folks in the House and in the Senate, because the House is our first line of defense against the federal government. And if we just keep sending the same people the same economic cut, then we can't expect anything different. So, folks, please get behind your blue collar candidates, progressive candidates. Help them. They need help. I need help. I don't make that much money. I try every day.
Well, he's got some
I don't
kids,
necessarily
so.
enjoy roofing, but it is fun.
He's not lying.
He's not lying. Look at this guy. We are not lying. We need help. We need help. Help find a progressive candidate that is not an attorney or a lawyer and get involved. I mean, not a lawyer or a millionaire and get involved. I think that will restore relatability to this country. It will make turnout better. And that is the goal we should have, is for more people to get involved. So thank you, Savage Joy. I love you. VoteTrent.com.
I love you too, both of you. And you know, on that note, I'm in Pennsylvania, and yesterday I was so excited because we seriously ass. Oh my God. I had 4 of my guests win their primaries. I was like a proud mama. It was so amazing. So we have some DSA people won, some Democratic Socialists. John Fetterman I had on the night before the election. He won by over 100,000 votes. It's just incredible. It's so amazing. And so I love that I get to do what I do. And
great job.
Phenomenal. And thank you guys watching who let me do it.
Great job.
Also, I do want to tell you guys, no Friday show or Monday show because it's my birthday and I'm going out of town to get a break. But Wednesday I will be back with David Hildebrand from California.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people have requested him. So
cool.
Looking forward to that. So Georgia is voting Tuesday. Also Arkansas, Kentucky, and the Texas runoff. So there's going to be 4 on Tuesday as well. So all the info for your websites and Twitter is in the comments. So you guys please check that out and please share. And Trent, I adore you. I wish you all the luck. I'm going to be on edge all day Tuesday, like checking nonstop. So I'm so glad I met you. And I'm so knowing that there's people like you running, like, give me hope.
Thank you, Joy. You give me hope too. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys for watching. Take care. And I won't be seeing you. So have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Joe back there.